Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for choosing to be with us. So what if there was a book to help you make the quantum leap from poverty to financial freedom and to get out of debt in just 7 months? Well, that is exactly what Lucas Ramagadi Matjiane illustrates with his new book, Kick That Poverty Out. In the book, Lucas shares the 10 winning lessons every poor and middle-class person needs to know. He joins me now. He's an entrepreneur, a life and success coach, and author of the book we're reviewing this morning. Lucas, good morning. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's get the obvious cat out of the bag here. There's a lot of books that deal with financial freedom, how to have more money. What makes this book different? What have you put in this book that we don't know?
Well, there are certain doable steps that people have to follow in order to make sure that they get out of debt and they become financially free. The steps that I'm discussing in the book itself are based on my personal journey.
Okay.
That is why I'm so confident that they are working because, when I look back from where I started, I used to be a poor man. Okay. And it was not easy with me, myself, and I had to find a way. I read books, I spoke to people, I listened to other writers like me, but finally then I came up with the 10 winning lessons that actually helped me because I started by implementing those 10 winning lessons in my life itself, and I saw it changing. Once I saw it changing now in my life, then I started, organizing some seminars where I shared the information with other people, and I saw even their lives, they are successful as we are talking.
Let's talk about very quickly those 10 steps, because I'm sure not only do we have viewers at home, but there are people in the studio taking notes too. Let's talk about those 10 steps very quickly.
Yeah. Well, the first one, you look at the chapters themselves. When I talk about those 10 lessons, I'm talking about the 10 chapters in the book. So each chapter is representing a lesson.
For sure.
The first one that talks about changing your money blueprint. It focuses on your mindset as a person to say, how did you treat money? When you think about money, what comes first in your mind? So that is the first lesson, and I'm encouraging people to say, look, this is what you can do. You link that with another one that I'm calling the Ramagadi cash flow triangles. Now, with that one, I am giving you a triangle that shows you the 3 pathways to say, this is the first pathway that you can follow, but unfortunately, that first one is the one that led many people to poverty.
Which is?
Where you are spending your money on things like just groceries. It's from hand to mouth every month. And that you don't even invest. And then the second one, the focus is more on liabilities because, many people are just working for liabilities. You go to work so that at the end of the day, you will be able to pay all those debts that you have. But now, with the last one, the third one, that's where now I am encouraging people to say, make sure that with your income, you buy assets because assets will always bring more income back to you. Now, when you have more assets, the more assets you have, the more income you will have, and that is how you will be able to even deal with the liabilities that you have and make sure that you clear the debts and make sure that you become financially free.
Because let me get in there quickly. I mean, look, we can go through all these 10 steps, but I want to talk about that poverty gap because you do have situations at home where a traditional setup prescribes that family. For example, fathers, men, they do the finances. In my personal household, I've discovered that my partner is better at managing the finances and we're making more money. How do you shift if you're in this poverty gap, but there needs to be a traditional shift here?
Yeah, in fact, what I'm trying to emphasize in the book is that it doesn't matter whether you are a man or a woman. Every person who follows those steps can be able to manage the funds effectively. What I'm trying to say is that even though in your house, maybe your wife is doing well, but if you yourself as a man can start to implement the doable steps that I am discussing in the book and make sure that you channel your income correctly, then ultimately you become this person who is also, good when it comes to managing your own finances.
7 months. You reckon in 7 months you'll be able to get yourself out of
debt.
Out of debt.
Yeah, 7 months is just an average period. I'm saying 7 months because it was 7 months with me. And then when I looked at other people that I coached, I found that, it fluctuated. Somewhere 6, somewhere 7, somewhere 8, somewhere, even 10. But now I just took 7 to say, this is an average
of what it will take for you to get out of that poverty gap.
Depending on the severity of your situation when coming to that.
What's the number one tip? Very quickly, the number one tip, if you don't remember all 10, but there's one tip you've got to live by. What is it? Quickly.
Invest like an expert. Invest like an expert. That's a problem with us as people. We don't invest. And that is the main reason why we remain this poor. So if you can make sure that is one element that you bring into your life and start investing, I can tell you, within few months, then you will be one of those people who can smile and say, I'm now financially free.
Okay, Lucas is financially free. He's the author of Kick That Poverty Out. It's Lucas Ramagadi Matjiane who's in studio talking about 10 tips on how to get yourself out of that poverty gap. And he says the one big tip for you this morning is invest like an expert.